Hi, the new Nowe Słowo in Durham University is very proud and happy and honored to have a few minutes with Dr. Andrei Fursov, professor in Moscow University and head of his own institution of strategic analysis and several departments at universities. He has just arrived in Durham on Wednesday and it's now Friday. And may I ask firstly how your visit is going and what lectures you are preparing for the students here?
First of all, I would like to thank colleagues and especially Russian students at Durham University who invited me to lecture here. I came here on Wednesday and now it is Friday, and during these 2 days I've met with some scholars and professors at Durham University, at Department of History, Department of International Relations. We were discussing problems of teaching students. So it was very interesting to discuss these problems. Apart that, I gave one lecture, and today there will be my second lecture. The first lecture was devoted to the problems of Russian history, of its regularities, and to the phenomenon of Russian power, how it was transformed since autocracy period to communist and post-communist period. And my today's lecture will be devoted to Soviet communism as a system, its place in Russian history, and its place in the world system.
Okay, and your lectures, they are connected, as far as I know.
Yeah, first of all, they are connected with each other. They are two parts of one big talk, Russian history as structure and process.
I see, and what particular aspects of that process did you touch upon yesterday and will you today?
Yesterday we were speaking about regularities of Russian history, of dialectics of external and internal factors of its development, dialectics of relationship between property and power in Russian history. And today we shall be speaking about the contradictions of Soviet communist order and interaction between Soviet elite and dominant groups of capitalist systems, and what happened out of this interaction, and what happened was perestroika, or rather catastroika, and dissolution of the Soviet Union.
I see, and will the lecture today then touch upon most recent history, which is quite controversial, and will be sure to be picked up in the question time?
Well, of course, though my lecture is devoted to Russian history, to both ancient and modern, current, of course, we'll discuss current situation, Ukrainian crisis, Crimean situation, relations between Russia and West. So the whole cluster of important questions, which are both contemporary and historical.
I see, and with your visit to Durham, having seen the facilities here and your colleagues here, what are your thoughts about the way history is done in this university?
Well, I've been a few days, so I cannot give a qualified assessment of how it is being taught, but what I learned from my talks with professors, with heads of departments, it seems to me that Durham really, its reputation as of one of the leading universities of the United Kingdom is quite adequate and solid.
I see, that's glad you're enjoying it so far. And with the audiences that are coming to your lectures, did you find that the questions were engaging yesterday, and you find you have a strong community of Russian speakers who are involved with it?
Yeah, I'm very glad there is really a strong Russian community of Russian students who are very interested in the discussion of the problems during the lecture and after the lecture, and it was a real interest to history of our country and to its present situation. So for me it was a very pleasant surprise.
See, that's good. And hopefully your lectures then helped those who are new to the Russian history to understand it better.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
And one of the other questions is that generally, on a side note, do you like the environment here? Have you seen the sites and libraries and artifacts?
I was greatly impressed by the library of the university. It's a real miracle. And I also liked the environment, the old castle, the church. So the environment itself is enjoyable, and it is very pleasant to walk and to study, to learn here.
I see. And with relation to, as you said, trends in Russian history and it repeating in many ways, do you see that with your lectures and with the discussions we're having, that currently Russia is going through another cycle, as it were, of the things you were discussing yesterday?
There are no 100% repetitions in history. Each new cycle is different from the other one. And up to now, just 2 dozens years just passed since the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Now, to my mind, it is too early to speak about the beginning of the new cycle. But there are some features, some events which hint that we're really at the beginning of perhaps we're really at the beginning of a new cycle. Russia is regaining its, I wouldn't say it's great power status, but the status of very strong regional power. And for me, it is the sign that we're returning in a big power game on the world scale.
I see. Well, many here interpret that differently slightly, with less pleasant attitudes towards Russia. Do you think the Russian-speaking communities and universities in this country as a whole could lead, with interaction with their peers, could lead to better understanding between Russia and Britain?
Well, I hope. As for less pleasant assessments of what's happening, I would say that in 1995, President Clinton, addressing the American military, said that America was going to let Russia be, but it was not going to let Russia be a great power. And now, when Russia is regaining at least its regional power, there is a very aggressive reaction of America, but the Ukrainian crisis showed, and Syrian crisis showed, both two of these crises showed that there are certain limits to American power in contemporary world.
And on a final note, what would be your wish for the Russian-speaking students in Durham and generally in Britain? What would be your message to them?
I'm not a kind of Dumbledore from Harry Potter to teach what Russian students should do in Britain. I would like that they get good education, they have good careers, but at the same time, nevertheless, stay here or they return to Russia. I wish that they would be patriots of their motherland, and they will keep traditions of our country, of our glorious past.
I see. Well, thank you very much for coming to
Thank
Durham.
you.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll come again. It's been Nowe Słowo in Durham University.